when I was invited for this atelier, I was just thinking, aside of everything what you can question, I had something like how I see our students. It is a sort of necessary atelier. You know, for example, the school is in the center of Brussels, so you can actually make your career on a RITSC as a student, finish, get your diploma, and you really don't know what is in your neighborhood. It's kind of I have a lot of questions by that. So in that way, I think that Atelier it's
different students. It puts also students from audiovisual a bit out of their comfort zone. Like they are asked a bit to do something that maybe they are not used to, especially, for example, with, I don't know, I'm just saying editors who are used to sit in a room and edit. Hey, and then hey, you just sit and you edit, but you don't really have, you know, like need to go. And I think what I'm now really speaking, like from my experience, what I think transversal atelier can be, it can also show to not only to people who might need that material for their own final work, but it can also open up a bit perspective to question your own position, whatever you do, your own position towards the material. Like, so for, I don't know, you can tell me also what that can mean for you as an editor, but I cannot speak because I'm not an editor. For theater maker, it's always good to kind of, even if you are working with professionals, working with non-professionals, question simply your position. What do you pick up as the most important thing from the conversation with somebody? How do you see somebody? How do you, from the person who is sitting in front of you, what is your vision on that person? What are the main features? I give also a couple of very practical exercises to students to kind of come to that point, to understand their angle and their, for me, working with reality, with people from the real world, non-professionals, it's not enough if you just take material and you exhibit, because then we are kind of journalists or whatever. If we are artists, we should also have some angle, some opinion, some position towards the material. And I think for me, transversal atelier is exactly that. It's not about product, but it's about process in which you try to gain certain, let's say, skills, if you want to say it like that, that might then help later for what you do. If I make a show in which I have a fictional character, it's somehow I feel not so responsible because it's fictional, right? And you can kind of find this place to play much more easy. You feel much more comfortable. It's much more responsible for me if I know that this person is there. It might come to see the show, but that I was working with this person and kind of also his or her stories are part of the process. How to stay respectful, how to involve this person so that it's not just taking what I need, but how to really make some collaboration. All these moral questions are coming along the way, which are really obstacles that I find challenging, and I find those also obstacles interesting moments, possible moments in this atelier, hopefully for students. Yeah, there is a format which you need to kind of fill in. So I felt like when we split in groups, I felt relieved, because then I could focus with my group from my own artistic practice and lead them with the knowledge and experience I have, not only as an artist, also as a teacher, how we can how we can work together in a way. And also, like in a matter that is still following the principles of Atelier, but then more from how also like what my perspective on participatory or these problematic words is. So for me, the moment when we split, that's the moment which allows each one of us, each one of the coaches, to coach the group from his or her own whatever pedagogic or artistic practice.
Yeah, but you ask, do we need to adjust to a format? Like practice that my artistic practice I like to call, instead I hear you saying socially relevant. I'm rather busy with socially engaged, that's like what is my input, and of course is directly kind of difficult to fit in this format unless you put it upside down, yeah. So when I read the text, I just thought directly the opposite, and if I would rewrite it, I would have totally different vocabulary, that's for sure. But when I was thinking about putting it in practice with the students, for me it was like, okay, I just want to reverse this process, that's it, it is all the paternalistic points which can come over as paternalistic, take out, and then just open up the process was my input. But how to say, I totally see what can be problematic in the text. I just denied possibility of letting that being
practicing it.
Yes. So I need to make a choice how to answer. So if I answer as a teacher, as that's how we meet today, I would say I'm happy because they're with us, because they are trying their best, because I'm witnessing some people really leaving their little box and getting like some eye-openers or some new context or something. I also witness how that is so good as not deeply used, but it's rather stays on that level of impression. The level of impression, which can be represent later on when we need to show something or something. So, but as I want to say, our process with the students is in no way problematic, which I as an artist would find problematic, but as a teacher I can only enjoy it. They are making steps and they are having a line where they go to. I think we both made for ourselves clever choices about making realistic expectations of Atelier, and based on that I think it goes well these first 2 weeks.
There is a big misunderstanding in defining what socially engaged is, what participation is.
Yes.
And big gap. There is a big gap between how the students think about that and how it's what it means maybe to some of the people who are involved as artists, teachers, whatever you could say. So I think that then it's not bad also to revisit these terms if it makes such a confusion, to revisit those terms again and to try to define what it means for you, what it means for me, and how something that is conceptualized as such can really speak in that way also in those words to students.
Yeah. Right. But I think it can be better, very practically, it's like not to communicate any kind of showing moment on the end. I would dismiss that as an unimportant element, because of course everybody will have something, some sort of archive on the way, and then you can also in one day just say, okay, let's see now, can we put this in some kind of map of our atelier, or any other form or any other thing. But that's something what I would, for example, dismiss, because I think it's like put them on the wrong track if you want to do this atelier, But also can also be tricky for a teacher, because you kind of know how every group will show something, so I also need now to see what my group will show, it's kind of, you cannot really totally let them. That's one thing I will change. Simply, it's. I don't see the necessity of showing that.
But I support the students who have the need to make more from that, and I support them when they say we want to make a movie. Okay, I say let's make the movie, because that's your need, that's your process, and
absolutely.
And why it should not be constrained in this, dogmatic. Also in that sense, like okay, end result is not important, but if you feel that it really gave you something to edit, for example, all the materials from the process and make a short movie and present that.
That's exactly why I said I would dismiss that, because I would also absolutely always support a student who wants to make a movie. But I do have questions. If I didn't set to student that there will be a presenting moment on Friday, would he or she come with the movie?
I think ideally the process should be from this interaction. Along the way you are understanding what that could be, and this brings you to some point, and that's what you are going to in the end share, that point where you came from that journey. Ugly word is present, but share. I think that's more fair to see. For me, ideally, that's how it could be.
Said, you mean? Yeah? Or you mean that's how it should be communicated?
Or
yeah,
formulated.
Yes, like the end is sharing moment of where did process brought you.